And those are some of your local, national and global news headlines this morning at 6:33 here on Wake Up Call. Let's get sports headlines now. Here is Samori Benjamin. Morning, Samori.
Good morning, Esther. Last night, two long-time 67-year-old rivals met for the first time this season, and fight night at the Garden nearly broke out. Good morning, everyone. The New York Knicks have begun this basketball season atop the Eastern Conference as they are in a tight race with the Miami Heat for the best record in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks actually have beaten the defending NBA champion Heat in two matchups this season, both by wide margins. Last night, however, was the Knicks' first matchup of the season with their longest rival of all time, the Boston Celtics. And when both of these teams are good at the same time, things get interesting. And that was the case in both instances last night, folks. This game took place right here on Broadway, where both teams played this one without their starting point guards, as Boston's Rajon Rondo sat the game out with a one-game suspension from the league, and Knicks point guard Raymond Felton is still on the shelf for 3 or 4 more weeks with a broken pinky. These two teams went at it all night long. It was a tight physical affair, and when it was all over, it was Boston who came into Madison Square Garden and outlasted the Knicks with a 102-96 win. This was Boston head coach Doc Rivers after the game, giving the keys to victory for his team.
Our defense was fantastic. In the first half, I was upset because I thought we gave up, I thought I said 7 threes that, they shouldn't have had, and it was our mistakes. And then in the second half, we corrected them. We took them off the three-point line in the second half and made them make twos for the most part. That's what we wanted to do.
Boston frustrated Carmelo Anthony last night, to put it mildly, folks, as he had one of his worst shooting games of the season, as he misfired last night on 20 of 26 shots. Doc Rivers says after not getting into Carmelo early, his guys got the job done.
Terrible in the first half, honestly. He had 3 point-blank threes where we were one-on-one coverage and we backed up and let him get rhythm threes. He's going to, Carmelo's a great player, and that's in shoot-around. I kept saying he's going to make shots. But we did a better job in the second half. He had to make shots that we wanted him to make instead of the ones that he wanted, and I thought that made a difference.
Now, the big story of this game, however, was a feud and a confrontation between the stars of both teams, the Knicks' Carmelo Anthony and Boston's Kevin Garnett. The two exchanged words throughout the second half and had to be separated on more than one occasion. And after the game, Carmelo went to the Boston locker room to confront Garnett, and the two reportedly had to be separated. Madison Square Garden security and police were called on the scene to defuse the situation, and then afterwards, Carmelo was caught on videotape waiting outside of the Boston team bus, waiting for Garnett to show his face. Doc Rivers used to be a player, and now as coach understands that these things can happen.
The game just got heated. It's just basketball. I don't know why. You know what I mean? God, these guys think it's just basketball. It's nothing wrong with getting heated, and it happens. It's a fun game. It's competitive. It's rough at times, and that's good. I think all that's good. It should never carry over past that. I've had my moments as a player as well, but it does, but you don't want it to, and whenever it does, you feel terrible later, But this is the way the game should be played to me. It should be a competitive, hard game. I thought overall, the officials let us play, both teams, and that's good with us.
Now, Carmelo Anthony was not available for comment after the game because he was honestly roaming the bowels of the Garden trying to get to Kevin Garnett. Now, this is what Carmelo's teammate Amari Stoudemire had to say.
Well, it was a lot of talk all night. Boston is known for talking all night, so we wasn't going to back down, and Carmelo didn't back down at all. And again, that's expected, in this game between the Knicks and Celtics. So it's going to be a heck of a battle from here on out.
While Carmelo did not speak with reporters after the game, the OG Kevin Garnett held court in the Boston locker room after a 19-point, 10-rebound performance.
Yeah, it got intense at the end, but for the most part of us trying to put some plays together, some stops. I thought we did a good job of that. We know that this team can put up a lot of points in a hurry, and I thought we did a good job of sustaining, the attack.
Garnett says His Celtics have championship heart, and they were ready to roll into the Garden last night.
Yeah, this is a new Knicks team, man, who's playing unbelievable basketball, and we knew what they've done to the Spurs and numerous teams that's come through here. We try to limit their threes and just be ready. And I thought we did a good job of not only being ready but attacking them also. But man, very, very, very good team.
How do you guys go about defensively getting the Knicks off the three-point line and also causing Carmelo so much trouble on the offensive end for him?
Well, we just try to put a hand in his face. Melo's such a good, scorer that scores, man. You just try to slow him down. We didn't run a lot of schemes today. We just try to run him off the three. And then again, attack them. On offense, we want to be very aggressive on offense, take our shots, and play throughout the 48 minutes.
Kevin Garnett sounds very collected right here, but he got under Carmelo's skin last night, and Carmelo's buddy Amari says this is what you get with KG and the Boston Celtics.
No, we'll be okay. I mean, again, this game is always going to be a chippy game. It's going to be a lot of talk back and forth, and that's to be expected. So it's the first of 4 games this season. We expect the next one to be just as aggressive and chippy, and we just got to make sure we keep our composure and get ready to play. Every time you play Boston, it's going to be a physical game. Every single time it's been like that my whole career. And Garnett brings that intensity. Even when he was in Minnesota, he brought that same intensity, and I've been playing against him now for 11 years, so it's to be expected. But again, we're here home in New York, and we wasn't going to let him come in and just say and do whatever he wants, so we stood up to him tonight.
This is Knicks center Marcus Camby, who has been in the league as long as Garnett, and he says, at this point, guys should know not to get involved with Garnett's shenanigans.
He's a competitor. He's a warrior. He goes out there, he competes. He talks a lot, but that's pretty much just to pump himself up. And, he's been doing that so long that it's amazing how guys still succumb to it.
Omari says he's already learned his lesson with KG.
It happened to me a few times before playing against Garnett to where it takes you out of your game because you get into a physical battle with him. And it happened to me in my earlier years, but at this point in time in my career, it's really about keeping the basketball and staying focused on the goal that we have in mind is winning the ball game. So, but again, tonight we had a chance to win. We're going to see these guys 3 more times this season, so we'll see how the next few games play out.
Garnett says at this point, every team wants to challenge the Boston Celtics.
It's almost like teams want some payback, but with years, going by and everybody's getting better and players coming into their own, teams coming into their own, new additions. Everybody's out to prove something. So the Knicks are playing good basketball.
You guys have been the top in this division for a long time. The Knicks, last couple of years, they got in the act together. This year they started off really good. But when you guys play them, how much do you guys want to let them know that, they still have a long ways to go in the lap to prove before they can get through you guys and get past you guys?
We're not that elaborate with it, man. It's another game on the schedule we got to prepare for. They're a good team. We know they're good, and we respect that. None of that are what you said. All right.
Kevin Garnett finished with 19 points, and another Boston All-Star, Paul Pierce, had 23 last night, including knocking down a number of big shots down the stretch.
It was big for us. We're starting to pull some games together. The Knicks been really playing well all year long. One of the top teams in all of the NBA. It's a real confidence booster when you come in on their floor with the way they've been playing and get a win. We knew it was going to be a physical game. I mean, you got 2 rivals in the division fighting for the same thing. You just got to play through it. It's frustrating at times with the refereeing. Sometimes they'll call the foul, sometimes not. But you got to just play through it. Brush off the frustrations and know that this is the kind of nip and tuck type of game it's going to be.
After the game, Garnett was asked what he said to Carmelo that set him off and got him so upset.
Heat of battle, the game. When you're out there on the floor, everything's high. Everything's on top notch. It's what it is.
How did Amari look to you out there tonight?
Amari's Amari. Powerful, strong. Obviously timing is everything, but simple Amari.
And here's Amari on Garnett's words for Carmelo.
I think it was more just talk, more talk and more than anything. Words are pretty sharp. So again, when you say certain things, it gets under your skin, it gets you a little angry. And that happens to the best of us. So, but again, we got to make sure that we keep our composure and see if we can beat a team like Boston. They, besides the altercation, they played well tonight. Down the stretch, Garnett and also Paul Pierce played well, and so did Bradley and a few other guys out there. So, they played a pretty good game.
Where do you rank Boston amongst your top rivals right now?
Well, this is only my fifth game so far this year, so I haven't played against the other top teams as of yet. But Boston playing well. Again, we had a chance to win. We didn't shoot the ball well tonight, so we can take that as a positive that we didn't shoot the ball and make shots that we normally make, and so we take that as a positive going to the next game.
Paul Pierce speaks on what Boston did defensively to frustrate Carmelo all night long, as he had one of his worst shooting performances of the season.
I think we got into his body. We didn't give him a lot of space. When he got into the paint, we tried to send another man at him. We tried to give him different looks from the zone, putting a bigger guy on him. So, I think that was key, helping making it tough on him all night long. He really did a great job, in my eyes and a lot of people's eyes. He's probably the most valuable player in the league right now. For him, for us to play him that tough tonight, it was a great work.
Just being a veteran, of the NBA and NBA seasons, what do you think you guys have to do to just, get through the season and then be, ready come playoff time?
Well, we got to try to remain healthy. We got to be consistent in what we do. The last 3 games is the way we like to play, defend no matter what's going on the offensive side. So hopefully what we saw the last 3 games between some of the top teams in the East is a sign of things to come.
And Boston has won their last 3 games, which have come against Indiana, Atlanta, and the Knicks, who are all top teams in the Eastern Conference. And Amari says, from this point on, teams are going to try and test the Knicks.
Yeah, it's how it's going to be, in the playoffs, and definitely the second half of the year when guys are fighting for position. It's going to be a physical game, so it's great to get a measuring stick now to figure out how we're going to play going to the second half of the year.
All right, the Knicks now have a record of 23-11 and are 1 game behind the Miami Heat for first place of the Eastern Conference. And in their division, the Knicks lead second place Brooklyn by 4 games, and they lead Boston by 6 games. And finally, folks, last night in college football's national championship game, Alabama rolled over Notre Dame 42-14 for their 3rd championship in the last 4 years.